Today's Subscriber Saturday suggestion came from my live stream yesterday recapping the Mets game, and it was to react to MLB's Pecota Division standings. Now, let me just say that I knew about the NL East because I saw that all over Twitter, but as I looked more and more into these rankings and the records, and not even just the division winners, but the teams in third or fourth or in second, I could not believe it. Like, I think, in my opinion, these standings are way off in a lot of different divisions. So we're going to talk about that in this video. And if there are any other videos you'd like to see for Subscriber Saturday, let me know in that comment section below. I cannot read mine, so please tell me what videos you would like to see. And if you enjoyed this particular video, the best way to let me know is by pressing that thumbs up button. It definitely helps the videos out, helps more people watch them. Comment down below, what are your thoughts on Pecota's rankings? These are not my rankings. I already made a video about that. So anything that you don't like about these lists, I didn't make it. It was Pecota, so get mad at them. Don't take it out on me. If you're new here and want to make my day, make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. So let's talk about these Pecota rankings. Let's start in the American League Central because this is maybe my biggest gripe. So in last place, they had the Detroit Tigers at 67 and 95. I'm not going to argue with that. I mean, the Tigers in the 60s in the win column, I could see that. The Royals 71 and 91. Maybe the Royals are a few games better than that, but okay, I'm not going to go crazy about it. But this next one, the Chicago White Sox, 83 and 79. You have got to be kidding me. The Chicago White Sox, this is a team that is very good to begin with. And like I said, they had a great offseason. So the White Sox are even better. The White Sox are my pick to win that division, have over 90 wins, not third place at 83. You mean to tell me that the Cleveland Indians traded away Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco, lost Carlos Santana, but are somehow better than the White Sox who added Liam Hendricks, Lance Lynn, Adam Eaton? I mean, the White Sox team was already better than Cleveland, so the fact that White Sox got even better and Cleveland got worse, that should be a no-brainer that the White Sox are better than Cleveland. And in my opinion, I also think the White Sox are better than the Twins too. I mean, the Twins made a few nice moves. They lost Eddie Rosario, but you added J.A. Happ, you added Alex Colomé. Minnesota has a nice team, but I just think that Chicago is all around better. Again, this one just drove me absolutely nuts. I completely disagree with this. If it's up to me, you know, it's White Sox first, then Twins, then Cleveland. Whatever analytics Pecota is using, they need to throw it out. They need to take it on the ground and just smash it and burn it and never use it again, because this is so far off the mark. I mean, just as far off as you could be. All right, the next division is pretty weird too. In the AL West, they had the Texas Rangers at 67 and 95. Okay, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Seattle at 70 and 92. I think Seattle's going to be a little better than that. Oakland 80 and 82. I disagree with that. I think that Oakland will be slightly over 500. That's my prediction. The Angels at 87 and 75. I don't agree with. I know Trout is amazing. I understand Anthony Rendon is very good. And I know that maybe Shohei Ohtani finally has a good year. Pujols is getting older. You have David Fletcher. He's a nice player. How big of a difference is Jose Iglesias going to make? He's made some nice defensive plays in spring training. Other than that, my main concern with the Angels remains the pitching, in particular the starting pitching. I don't think that getting Alex Cobb, getting Jose Quintana, and then raising Iglesias for the bullpen is all of a sudden going to take your team that was under 500 in 2020 into an 87-win team. I think that is a drastic jump for a team that did not make drastic changes to their roster. And then in first place, they have the Houston Astros at 93 wins. This is a team that lost George Springer and did not replace him. They're relying on Miles Straw to fill in for George Springer. Miles Straw has great speed, but he's not going to give you the bat that Springer does. These projections were made before the Framber Valdez injury, and they signed Jake Odorizzi, so that's also not taken into consideration for the Astros projections, and they also didn't have Forrest Whitley out for the season yet. But my bigger gripe is that they have the Angels too high and the Athletics too low. Then next up, we have the AL East. They had the Orioles at 66 and 96, which I don't disagree with. I feel like that's, I mean, I think the Orioles may be a little better than that, but okay. Then you have the Red Sox at 80 and 82. That's not bad. I think the Red Sox are maybe like 77 win team, but 80 is fine. 3 games I'm not going to cry about. The Blue Jays at 85 and 77. Okay, I think the Blue Jays are more like 83, but all right. Then you have the Rays at 86, 76. Okay, I'm not too mad. Again, maybe the Rays are a little more, a little less, in the ballpark. And then the Yankees, 97-65. Again, I think you're in the ballpark. Like, for me, I think the Yankees could win 100, but they also could win 97. So anything that's a 3-game difference, I'm not going to complain about from what I think and what they have. And I think that overall, this is a very fair assumption. Like, this is the one division I think they got right. You know, like, Tampa finishes ahead of Toronto, but not by a lot, just by a game or two. Like, I could see it happening. I still think Tampa, no matter what, they're just going to be good. Like, that's just Tampa Bay Rays. No matter who's on their roster, the Rays find ways to be successful. Again, I don't trust the Blue Jays pitching. I know you have Ryu. We'll see what Nate Pearson does. You have Robbie Ray, but then, I mean, Steven Matz and whoever else, I just can't say that's a team that's going to be really good in the American League. And now let's move over to the National League West. They have the Colorado Rockies in last place. It's 60 wins and 102 losses. I think Colorado's probably a few games better than that, but they're definitely last place. Then they have the San Francisco Giants at 75-87. I think the Giants are pretty better than this. I can see the Giants being in the low 80s in the win column. I do not think the Giants will be that far under 500. They made a few nice signings, you know, nothing crazy, but they still have a pretty decent team. The Arizona Diamondbacks ahead of the San Francisco Giants, I really disagree with. Even though they still have the Diamondbacks record under 500, the Diamondbacks did close to nothing this offseason. I mean, you got Asdrubal Cabrera and Joakim Soria and Tyler Clippard, but the Diamondbacks team itself just isn't that good. You have Zach Gallen, you have Madison Bumgarner, but other than that, like Ketel Marte, all right, Eduardo Escobar, David Peralta, these guys are okay, but this isn't a team that's better than the San Francisco Giants. I know they have them under 500, but again, they're just not better than the Giants, flat out. Next up, the San Diego Padres at 96-66. I feel like that's a pretty nice record for them. I think I would be right around that ballpark as well. I mean, San Diego, they did really good last year, had an amazing offseason. I can't argue that ranking at all. And then they have the LA Dodgers at 103 wins and 59 losses. This was pretty interesting. You guys know that I feel very highly about the Dodgers, but I think that winning over 100 games right after a World Series berth is very hard to do. Despite how low the Dodgers are, I think they will still win that division, but winning over 100 games, like I said, coming off a World Series, that's not easy to do. It's pretty difficult, but they could do it because they do have that kind of roster. The big one, the NL East, I think everything is wrong in here. So they have the Marlins in last place at 68-94. I talked about the Marlins in the live stream yesterday, but the Marlins are much better than 68 wins. I think the Marlins could be right around 500, so they are way better than 68 wins. I think they got that completely wrong. Then they have the Atlanta Braves at 82-80, which you guys know how high I am on the Braves. I think the Braves are one of the best teams in all of baseball, so the fact that you have them in 4th place is just completely wrong, and they've done this the past couple of years with the Braves. They project them to have these not that good seasons, and then they win the divisions easily. So if they've gotten the Braves wrong year after year after year, so they just got it wrong again, straight up. Then they have the Phillies at 83-79, and I don't think that Phillies record is horrible. Like, I think that's pretty close to where I would put them, but just not better than the Braves. Like, the Phillies win total, I'm not complaining about, but just the fact that they're higher than the Braves, that's not true. The Phillies will not have a better record than the Atlanta Braves. Then they have the Nationals at 85-77. I also think the Nationals are a pretty good team, but again, not better than the Braves. And then they have the New York Mets win the division easily with 96 wins. This division is way too tough for the Mets to run away with. Like, again, the Marlins are going to win more games than that, so you're going to take a few games off the Mets total. The Braves are going to win more games than that. You have to take a few more off the Mets total. That's why I have the Mets at around 92 wins, in my opinion, because the Marlins and Braves are significantly better than that. And I know for a fact I'll be right that the Marlins and Braves are better than what they listed them. If the Marlins and Braves are 5th and 4th, I don't know what I'd do. I guess maybe I have to make some kind of bet or something, but I promise you that won't happen. Next up, we have the National League Central, and they have the Pittsburgh Pirates at last place with 61 wins and 101 losses. I don't disagree with that. We know it's going to be a rough year for Pittsburgh, so they will be in last place. They're not going to win that many games, so I'm okay with it. Next up, they have the Cincinnati Reds at 79-83. I don't disagree with that. I don't think Cincinnati's that good. I think after losing Bauer, you lost DeScalfini. I mean, what is Wade Miley and these other guys going to do? You have Castillo, you have Sonny Gray, but I just think that day in, day out, outside of those two guys at the top, the Reds pitching just won't get it done. And we know their offense is highly suspect. They have no shortstop. I mean, are they going to put Senzel as their starting center fielder? The Reds have so many question marks. Votto has COVID right now and is getting very old. Moustakas was inconsistent. I just don't think the Reds are going to be that good. They will be under 500. This one, I think they got totally wrong. The St. Louis Cardinals at 81-81. No way, Jose. The Cardinals, I think they had a really good offseason getting Arenado. I think they're definitely going to win that division. And the fact that they have them just at 500 is so off. Like, the Cardinals had a good year last year, and they had Nolan Arenado and didn't really lose anything from their major league roster. So, I mean, yes, they lost Brad Miller. They traded away Dexter Fowler. But the Arenado impact, I think, is going to be so significant that the Cardinals will have a much better year than that. They have the Cubs at 85 and 77. I think this is pretty close to where I would put the Cubs. I'm curious to see what their season is going to look like. Do you really play out the season with Bryant, Rizzo, Contreras, and Javi Baez and not trade any of them and just let 3 of those guys probably walk in free agency? That just wouldn't be smart for the Cubs. So we'll see how their season goes. I mean, they could win 85, but if they do trade away all those guys for prospects, their record could be much worse. And then they have the Milwaukee Brewers winning the division at 89 wins. A lot of people are high on the Brewers. I don't love Milwaukee. I don't love their lineup. I don't love their rotation outside of Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff. You have Devin Williams and Josh Hader at the pen. But again, I just look at the overall depth of the Brewers. Like Yelich, he could be an MVP caliber player, but after that, how much do you rely on Lorenzo Cain? How much do you rely on Jackie Bradley to be consistent offensive contributors? The same goes for Colton Wong and these other guys. So I'm not in love with the Brewers. I think that's too many wins for them, and I just think the Cardinals are going to be better than them. So those are Pecota's projections and standings. Let me know what you guys think about what Pecota got right and mostly what they got wrong. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And again, let me know what other videos you want to see on Sunday, live stream following the Mets game. So until then, be safe, be smart, be healthy. Let's go Mets. Prove me wrong and win the division.